Hollie Gibralter. Your Honor, may I approach the witness bench?
Yes, please.
Judge, may counsel approach the bench very quickly?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I neglected to swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Mr. Gibralter. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Would you go ahead and say your name, spell your whole name for the court's report?
Yes, I'm Hollie Gibralter, HOLLIE-GIBRALTER.
And how are you employed now?
How am I employed?
Yeah, what do you do?
Real estate management.
Okay, back in September of 2018, were you a manager of some sort over the Southside Flats here in Dallas?
Yes, sir, I was the regional manager.
Okay, very good. Would you do me a favor and just make sure you're... Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I've never been told that I was a quiet nature. Okay, so you were a regional manager of the Southside Flats, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, just let the jury know, what all does that entail?
I oversaw 6 properties in the Dallas Metroplex area, and Southside Flats was one of my properties.
Okay, and when was that particular complex built?
2000, I believe, 2012.
Okay. Is it like any other apartment complex where you engage in leasing units to residents?
Yes.
As far as its location to the Dallas Police Department headquarters, how close are you guys?
It's a few blocks.
Okay. And did you regularly see a lot of police activity in and around that location?
We would see police cars. Yeah, it was pretty common to see.
Okay. May I approach Mr. Gibralter?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification, States Exhibits number 31 and 32. Can you tell me if these are going to be the lease agreements then existing involving Amber Guyger, the defendant, and apartment 1378, and both are John for apartment 1478?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And do you keep these lease agreements and the paperwork incident and attended to that for the business purposes of Waterton, the company that owns this property?
Yes, we do.
And I'm going to offer States Exhibits 31 and 32 for all purposes. Under Business Records Affidavit noticed on May 7, 2019.
No objection to 31. 32 is admitted. No objection to 32. 32 is admitted as well. You may publish them whenever you want.
All right, Ms. Gibralter, with respect to, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the documents in case you have to refer to them, okay?
Yes.
Let's start off, there's nothing more boring than going through a lease agreement. So is that fair to say in your line of work?
That's fair, yes.
Okay, so I don't really want much, I just need to get a little bit of information.
Mm-hmm.
With respect to the complainant's lease, that's going to be Mr. Jean's lease, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm for me that he was in this was a second year, he had one previous lease and was in a second lease?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So had he been a resident of Southside Flats since August of 2017?
It looks like it may have been June 8th of 2017, unless he just signed his lease early.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Again, thank you, that's fine. Thank you for
Welcome.
clearing that up.
Sure.
If I made a mistake, I wanted to be
It's
clear.
okay.
So sometime between June and August of 2017 is when he signed his first one-year lease.
Yes.
You showed a renewal or a second lease to him on August the 1st, 2018.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so he was currently under lease, no issues with Mr. John, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did he live in apartment 1478?
Yes.
Did you ever have any problems with Mr. John?
No.
And then I would like to take a look at States Exhibit number 32. And would you like the jury to know when the defendant's lease began?
July 13th of 2018.
Okay. So if my math is right, between July 13th, 2018 and September 6th, approximately 56 days of residency. Is that at least ballpark?
Yes, that's accurate.
With my math, that may be off a day or two. It's very close. All right. Was she in any way employed by your apartment complex as a in her capacity as a police officer?
No, she was not.
All right. Who do you guys use a private firm for security?
We do use a third party.
All right. And did Ms. Guyger get any kind of a discount though because she was a police officer?
No, she did not get a discount on her rent. There was an upfront Hometown Heroes program that we did for any police officers or teachers where they received a discount off move-in fees.
Okay. So her rent would have been a little bit reduced because of that?
It wasn't a rent, it was more of a move-in fee. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was like off an administrative fee or an application fee.
Okay. But that would apply to like teachers and firemen as well as police officers?
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that you did it. You did it, prosecutors?
We could.
Okay. All right, what kind of apartment did both Mr. John and the defendant, did they live in what's called an A3 variant? Of all of your layouts, do they live in an A3 variant?
That sounds familiar, yes. We have A1s and A3s.
I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 33. Does that appear to be the floor plan for an A3 variant apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to offer State's Exhibit 33. And State's Exhibit number 34. Does that appear to be the complex floor plan with the parking garage?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to block the jury's view of you just for a second. Is State's Exhibit 34A going to be an exact copy of State's Exhibit number 34?
Yes, it is.
All right, and so this is going to be a representation of the complex layout, is that right?
Yes.
All right. Now for State's Exhibit 34 and 35. I'm showing what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 35. Is that going to be a particular hallway of the Southside Flats along Powhatan Road and the apartments that were located along that back hallway?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 34B. It is not exact as 35, but would you say it is of the same hallway?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I offer State's Exhibit 34B and 35. May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Okay. Just so that the jury, I can give a little bit of orientation. Would you, Your Honor, may Mr. Gibralter step down?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, Madam Court Reporter, is this okay for you to have it right here? Is this going to be Lamar Street right along here?
Yes, it is.
And is this going to be the main entrance into the apartment complex?
Yes, it is.
All right, is this going to be like a little covered part next to the leasing office?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Brown, could you speak up, please?
Yes, that's all correct.
Okay, good deal. And then do you take a pathway or a driveway into the parking garage area of the complex?
It's a driveway, yes.
Driveway. Right here in the parking garage, is there a gate that you need to have a key fob in order to get access to it?
Yes, there's a gate right here.
Is there also, can you manually enter a code, or is it just by key fob?
It's just key fob.
Okay. And then this is going to be like is it a 5-floor parking garage?
Yes.
Okay. And then attached to the parking garage, is this going to be the actual apartment units themselves?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and should I take it from here? Can all the jury see this? This particular area right here is the courtyard area. Is that where you have like some seating areas, some greenery at the complex?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Is this the elevator that runs from the ground floor all the way up to the 4th floor for the apartments?
That is correct.
And is this going to be kind of like the main hall that would take you from the elevator? Or say, for example, you parked here. Would this be the most likely place that you could enter if you had an apartment along the back wall?
That is correct.
Okay. Right here where my finger is that going to be the location of apartment 1478?
That's correct.
1378 if you're on the 3rd floor.
That's correct.
Okay. So to get to that apartment, you could do one of two different entrances. You could go in the back door and come around this way, or you can come down this hallway, make a left, and go to the apartment.
That's correct.
Give me one more second, I just want to see. This State's Exhibit number 34B. Is this going to still be that, essentially that back hallway? This is the hallway where you make a left, and then this is going to be 1478.
That's correct.
And these apartments along this back wall, do they all have balconies that overlook Powhatan Street?
I believe so. There's some of them that have like Romeo and Juliet, I wouldn't call it a balcony perhaps, but yes, they overlook that street, yes.
Fair enough, I appreciate that. Okay, have a seat, thank you. Okay. I'm now showing what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 291. Are these going to be the amenities of Southside Flats and all of the floor plan apartment opportunities that you could have if you wanted to move in there?
That is correct.
Okay. And if we move to this particular page, is this going to be the A3 variant?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is the only difference between the variant that's depicted in 291 and the variant that's depicted in 33, the fact that the apartment can be mirror opposites of each other depending on the location within a complex?
That is right.
All right. And by mirror opposite, I mean sometimes when you walk in, the kitchen may be on the right, and the bathroom, bedroom area on the left. On a different part of the complex, it could be vice versa.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know on State's Exhibit number 33 that this was the variant that represented both 14 and 1378?
That is, yes.
But in 291, it shows the other version of it. Okay, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What is the square footage, approximate square footage of the A3 apartment?
It's 787.
Roughly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'm going to offer State's Exhibit 291.
Okay.
And lastly, State's Exhibit number 36. Is this going to be a fair and accurate depiction, basically of 34B, where I asked you, does it overlook Powhatan Street? Is that going to be a good vantage point to show how it overlooks Powhatan Street?
Yes.
Am I saying that name right?
Oh, yeah, that's how I say it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hope so. And if that's the case, is this going to be apartment 1478 where my finger is?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'm going to offer State's Exhibit 36.
Okay. Just a minute.
Now, others?
Yes.
All right, State's Exhibit number 36. All right, for apartment A3 variant, when you enter through the front door of the apartment, you have like a small, probably like around a 3-foot partial wall with the fridge on the other side?
Yes.
Okay, and then what is immediately to the right as far as that variant is concerned?
It's just a little hallway.
Okay, is there a little kitchen area right immediately to the right of that?
Well, you have the washer and dryer. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the kitchen area.
Yeah, that's to my right.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then if you go to as I'm facing it to my left, is this going to be like the laundry area in the bathroom?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then what is this right here?
It's an island with your undermount sink.
Okay. And then is this going to be like the living area, or if the resident so chooses, it could be a living dining area?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Over here, is this going to be the bedroom?
Yes.
And is this going to be the closet?
Yes.
And what is this right here?
It's a linen closet.
A linen closet?
Mm-hmm.
And is that a pantry?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then there's going to be access to a balcony on this particular variant as well, is that right?
Yes, it is.
And then as far as an external view, this is how Southside Flats looks from probably the corner of Lamar and Powhatan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that a yes?
It's not directly at Lamar. There's it sets off a little bit. There's like the 7-Eleven, but yes, that's the Powhatan.
Actually, I'm glad you said that. So there is a 7-Eleven gas station convenience store right next to it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Okay. But this right here, is this Powhatan Street?
Yes, it is.
All right. And would that mean that this top apartment here is going to be 1478?
Yes, it is.
And would that apartment be 1378?
Yes, it would be.
All right, I'm going to show you this mark for identification as State's Exhibit number 37. Is this going to be records under business records affidavit indicating, I think, to the district attorney's office investigators, either that or maybe to the Dallas Police Department, but does this indicate to us as part of this investigation where your complexes, your former complexes, security cameras are located?
Yes, that looks familiar, yes.
Okay. So, according to this, there was 15 different video cameras in effect. One, it looks like it was unassigned. Is that accurate?
Yes, there's 15 different allocated cameras, yes.
Okay. And did you indicate those on this particular diagram?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I did notice when I was looking at this the other day, there is a number 10, which is identified as a gate entrance that is not listed on this. It wasn't handwritten. Can you show me where that was?
Just here.
Okay. So it was just not actually documented on the map, but it does exist.
Yes.
I offer State's Exhibit number 37. Permission to publish?
Yes.
So you've got one video camera located at the rooftop
Mhm.
complex. And I'm not going to go.
Please say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, Your Honor.
That's my bad. The court reporter can't take down. There's actually no way to phonetically reproduce that. So
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm not going to go through the 15 different cameras, except to say you've got a camera right here along the main entrance coming into the complex, right?
Yes.
And you can see the cars that drive in.
Yes.
All right. And you have one over here in this area by where the gate is that allows you to go into the parking garage portion.
Yes.
All right. So, and then you've got them at various other locations where where it's more like community?
Yes, to monitor amenities.
Okay. Are there any video cameras that you guys maintain in the hallways?
No.
Okay. Is that for privacy, or was that just, you wanted to just get into community areas?
We purchased the property when it was 2 years old, so we adopted it the way that it was built.
Okay. So there's not going to be any video cameras, for example, showing anyone that's walking down this main hallway, or down the back hallway, or even down the furthest hallway?
No.
On any of the floors?
No.
Okay. But if we wanted to see the pool, we can see the pool. If we want to see the mail area, we can see the mail area.
Fitness centers. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. Walker. The video camera system that this complex adopts and utilizes, is that a motion-activated video surveillance system that captures those 15 different camera channels?
I do not recall.
Okay. Are you aware, though, that those, whether they capture it by motion or if they're on a continuous loop, is that system capable of actually recording accurately the areas that the cameras are?
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And do you rely upon the accuracy of those when you ever have to go back and look?
Yes.
Are those recordings kept on a digital recording system that's part of that same manufacturer that provides the cameras and the storage?
Yes.
And are you able to access those if you need to look at them at any date as long as it's within the retention period?
Yes.
And is that particular storage, is it kept in a secure location? In other words, is it kept in a place where the common public can't just go in and play with it?
Yes, it is behind a locked door.
Okay. Whereabouts at the complex?
It's in the back of the office.
Okay. And at some point after the shooting, did forensic video individuals from my office come to your location and actually do an inspection of your surveillance system and download recorded videos as they existed on September the 6th from about 9 until midnight?
Yes, they did.
And did they do that with a search warrant?
Yes, they did.
And did they? But y'all agreed that you wanted a warrant, right?
Right, yes.
Fair enough. And so you got your warrant, you let us take the video, is that right?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's marked for identification of states exhibit number 38. Is this also going to be a CD, or actually this is a Blu-ray disc, sure it is, which contains the video for that allocated period of time authorized by the warrant for all the video that was captured by Southside Flats?
Yes.
Okay. And is those records, do you keep those videos in the normal course of business of your complex for security reasons or for any other reason?
It's typically about 30 days, and after that it's deleted.
Okay, just kind of written over? All right.
That's
Now,
correct.
I'm going to offer this State's Exhibit 38 for record purposes at this time.
No objection for record purposes.
It's admitted for record purposes.
As far as these videos that are contained on the State's Exhibit number 38, though, was there any additions, deletions, or modifications made by you or your staff to those videos?
No.
I want to talk to you about the deadbolts that you guys utilize at this particular location, if I can, for a few minutes. The doorways, you have two doorways within the A3 variant apartment. One that leads to the hallway, the external door, and one that would lead to a balcony, if there's a balcony. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm only going to be speaking about the one where you actually have some sort of an RFID or key fob that's related to the outside door. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Are those key fobs programmed to allow entry to a particular apartment?
Yes.
And tell me how and where are they programmed for that?
They're programmed in our office, in the same back office where the security cameras are held, or the footage.
Okay.
They're programmed back there.
Okay, so the key itself is programmed to a particular door.
Yes.
And then is the door lock programmed to recognize that particular key?
Yes, it is.
All right. If a door lock doesn't recognize a key because it's not been programmed to recognize it, what is the response of the door lock?
It just beeps red.
Okay, blinks red. And it won't allow anything else. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Okay. If the door lock recognizes the key, how will the door lock respond then?
Green, and you'll hear a click and it unlocks.
Okay. Are you able to even lock or unlock the door if the door lock doesn't recognize the key?
No.
So if I stuck the wrong key into a door, and I'm familiar with how it works, let's say I'm a resident, if I stick the wrong key in, I'm going to see a red light.
That's right.
And is that, you've been there, you've stuck in keys, is that a good indication that this might not be the right key for this
Yes.
room? Your system doesn't allow for some limited amount of information to be stored in the door lock itself, registering when keys it recognized have been placed in the lock.
Yes, it's very limited, just in and out time that the lock was unlocked or locked.
Okay. So when the door lock recognizes the key being put in, and it has that mechanical motion that you said will allow it to be turned, will the door lock record what's called an event, which shows either that the door was locked or unlocked?
Yes.
It doesn't distinguish locked or unlocked, it just shows that it allowed permission for something.
Yes.
Does it allow for anything else? Does it record anything else?
No.
As part of our request, did, again pursuant to a search warrant at Chill's request, did your company at that time give us what's called a door lock audit report showing events that were authorized by properly registered keys for both 1478 and 1378?
Yes.
Okay. And did you turn that over to us upon our request?
Yes, we did.
I beg your pardon, Your Honor, can I have 1 second, please? Sure.
Sir, we don't move about. You'll have to wait until the break, please. We're gonna stop all this in and out.
For the moment, I'll go ahead and pass her as a witness.
Ms. Gibralter?
Yes.
My name's Robert Rogers. I just have a few questions for you.
Yes.
You testified in front of the grand jury, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall testifying about there's a certain way that if you rest the door, the door with the door lock on it, that if you rest the door, you can, in such a way, it won't close all the way. You recall that?
I think we're talking about the door, whether it slams closed or not.
Right.
When you're on the inside of the apartment, or I do remember briefly discussing that.
And that there's, if you don't just let go of it, but if you can close it, if manually you hold on to it, you could keep it from latching.
Yes, I do remember that.
Right? And so there's a way you could, with manually, rest the door where it doesn't click into the metal, so that if you just push it, it opens, correct?
Yes, I mean, there's a type of slam that was built on the door where it is designed to close automatically, but you can manipulate it in a way where it doesn't quite latch, but you have to be very intentional about that, where it doesn't latch.
And were you aware of any issues with the door in 1478?
No, none.
Was it ever reported to you that during this investigation it was found that when the humidity was at a certain level, when it had rained, that there were, due to the way the strike plate was installed, that a few times the door, even if let go, wouldn't shut all the way? Were you aware of that?
Not at all.
The design of the Southside Flats is basically each floor is identical in the layout, correct?
Yes.
And so if you're on floor number 3, the reason that you know on your floor, if you're in the hallway on floor number 3, the reason that you know is that you look up at the numbers that are up and to the left of the door, correct?
I can't remember exactly where the numbers are located, but they are lit up from behind, and yes, the apartment numbers are next to each door.
And they're not on the door, correct?
They're not on the door, no.
And
They're
so
backlit.
What distinguishes 3, 4, 2, it's on the second floor it would be 1208, on the third floor 1308, on the fourth floor 1408.
That's correct.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you aware that obviously after this incident occurred, there was a investigation that occurred in which a lot of law enforcement officers were coming to the Southside Flats, correct?
Yes.
Are you aware of a questioning done by the DPS investigators, the Texas Department of Public Safety investigators, where 93 tenants had
I'm
reported?
going to check. If Ms. Gibralter does know the answer to that, she's not one of the investigators, or based on hearsay entirely.
So is your objection to hearsay?
Yes.
After this incident, did the Southside Flats make cosmetic changes to each level to make it clear what floor you're on?
I was not aware of any.
You're not aware of any changes that occurred?
No, I left the company shortly after the incident.
When did you leave the company?
It would have been April, end of April, 2019.
April 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not aware of cosmetic changes made from September 6th of 2018 to April 2019?
I do not remember any. No, I wasn't the direct property manager. There was a property manager at the community. I was the regional manager, but I wasn't aware of any changes.
Okay. But they could have been done, not to your knowledge.
That's true.
All right. I got myself organized. I've just got a couple more documents. Okay, Mr. Walter?
Okay.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification of states exhibits number 39 and 40. Are these going to be the lock audit reports that were generated for Department 1478 for, it looks like September, no, it looks like, it will keep a total of 200 transactions at a time and then just boot off the last one, keeping the 200 most current. Is that right?
That sounds familiar.
All right, so is this going to be the lock audit report for Department 1478? It's going to be States Exhibit 39.
Yes, that's correct.
And is States Exhibit number 40 going to be the lock audit report for Apartment number 1378? So I had that open, I could have just left it.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, I'm going to offer States Exhibits 39 and 40.
Okay.
And I think lastly, Mr. Gibralter, thank you for your patience. I'm going to show you States Exhibit number 41. You testified earlier, I believe, that the garage is accessed using a key fob as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So does that particular reader, like the door, does it indicate whenever a recognized key fob accesses the garage gate?
Yes.
All right. Is States Exhibit number 41 going to be kind of the gate for the apartment complex and when particular residents entered the apartment complex?
Yes, it is.
It doesn't record exit though, is that right?
That is right.
Okay.
Sensor.
And if a person uses one of these key fobs to enter, it's going to reflect on this report,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But if a person, say like the person drives up and the door is being opened by another car that's gone in and you just want to drive in behind it, you're fast enough, then you don't actually have to use the key fob to get in. You could scoot in behind it.
Yes, and it's not reflected on this report because it wasn't activated.
Right.
Yes.
And the gate is controlled, it has sensors so that if a car goes in and say a person then walks out, which causes the gates to open back up, another vehicle need not actually use their key fob to get in. If the gates open, it could just drive in.
Yes, there's sensors on it to keep it from hitting the car.
Okay. And do you show on, well, let me offer States Exhibit number 41. States Exhibit number 41, does that show Botham John's final entry into the apartment complex to be at 21:27 hours and 48 seconds?
Yes.
So it's going to be 9:27:48, but it doesn't show entrance by Amber Guyger, does it?
No, it doesn't appear to.
Okay, so if she was in the parking garage, it may have been by one of those means where she just didn't have to key fob in.
Yes.
All right. Does it show the entrance of an individual whose key is assigned to a Ronald Jones entering at 21:53:32 or 9:53 and 32 seconds?
Yes, it does.
And looking at page 4, does that show also on September the 6th that Mr. Jean, Botham Jean, entered the parking garage earlier that day at 4:56 p.m.?
Yes, it does.
All right, so sometime between 4:56 and 9:27, he left, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And one showed him coming in at 4:56, one showed him coming in at 9:27.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, you're leaving the Southside Flats, that company's called Waterton, right?
Yes.
Was that because of a promotional or a better job?
It was a promotion, yes.
Things going well?
It is, thank you.
I'll pass the witness.
Nothing further.
May she be excused?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor.